There is a strawberry farm in Riyadh. It grows year-round in one of the hottest cities on Earth without a single drop of rain and without a grain of soil beneath it. And it is not an experiment. It is a commercial operation supplying local supermarkets. The Gulf states of the Middle East face a food security challenge that has no precedent in the modern world. The UAE imports more than 85% of its food. Saudi Arabia imports roughly the same. Qatar, Kuwait, and Bahrain are similarly dependent on international supply chains for the basic calories that sustain their populations. These are some of the wealthiest nations on Earth, and they cannot feed themselves. The desert offers temperatures of 50 degrees Celsius in summer, virtually zero annual rainfall in many regions, and some of the most barren, mineral-depleted soil on the planet. Conventional agriculture, the kind that feeds most of the world, simply does not work here at scale. For decades, the answer was money. The Gulf states used oil revenues to import food from wherever it grew cheapest and most abundantly: grain from Ukraine, fruit from Egypt, dairy from Europe. It worked until it did not. The 2007 to 2008 global food crisis, when commodity prices doubled in a matter of months, sent a shock through Gulf governments. Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022 disrupted wheat supplies that several Gulf states depended on. COVID-19 demonstrated how fragile global supply chains are when every country closes its borders simultaneously. The lesson, learned 3 times in 15 years, was that food security built on imports is not security at all. It is dependency. Vertical farming offered a different answer. The concept is straightforward in principle and extraordinarily complex in execution. Instead of spreading crops horizontally across land, the way all conventional farming works, you stack them vertically. You build a tower or retrofit a warehouse and grow crops on racks or trays arranged across multiple floors. You eliminate the need for soil by replacing it with a nutrient-rich water solution delivered directly to the plant roots, a technique called hydroponics. You eliminate the need for sunlight by replacing it with LED lighting systems, calibrated to the exact spectrum each crop needs for photosynthesis. You eliminate the need for rain by building closed-loop irrigation systems that recycle every drop of water, losing less than 5% through evaporation compared to the 30 to 40% routinely lost in conventional outdoor irrigation. And you control the climate absolutely. Temperature, humidity, carbon dioxide concentration, and airflow are all managed by AI systems monitoring the farm around the clock. The result of that engineering is astonishing. A single vertical farm occupying a footprint of 2,000 square meters can produce the same yield as a conventional farm 50 to 100 times larger. Crops that take 90 days to grow in a field can be harvested in 30 days in a vertical farm because the light cycle can be extended and the growing conditions optimized continuously. The same physical space can run 4 to 5 crop cycles per year instead of 1 or 2. And because the farm is sealed from the external environment, there is no need for pesticides. The insects and fungal infections that devastate conventional crops simply cannot enter. The UAE became the regional pioneer. Emirates Crop One, a joint venture between Emirates Flight Catering and US-based Crop One Holdings, operates what was at its launch in 2023, one of the largest vertical farms in the world, at a facility in Dubai. The farm produces over 1,000 kilograms of leafy greens per day. Bustanica, its brand name, supplies salads directly to Emirates airline passengers and Dubai retailers. Pure Harvest Smart Farms, founded in Abu Dhabi, has built climate-controlled greenhouse complexes producing tomatoes, strawberries, cucumbers, and herbs, with facilities across the UAE and Saudi Arabia. The Dubai Vertical Farming Research Hub, supported by the Dubai Future Foundation, is actively developing next-generation systems for crops beyond leafy greens, including grains and legumes, which have historically been impossible to grow economically in vertical farms. Saudi Arabia has followed with the scale that only sovereign wealth can provide. The Agricultural Development Fund invested $220 million in high-tech greenhouses between 2021 and 2025, covering up to 70% of capital costs for qualifying projects. NEOM, the $500 billion futuristic city being built in the northwest of the country, has embedded vertical farming into its core infrastructure plan, with food production towers designed as permanent components of the urban architecture. The Saudi Public Investment Fund has backed multiple vertical farming ventures as part of its Vision 2030 goal of reducing food import dependency to 30% by the end of the decade. The numbers tell a compelling story of momentum. The Middle East and Africa vertical farming market was valued at $1.45 billion in 2025 and is projected to reach $1.83 billion in 2026, growing at a compound annual rate of 26.4% through 2034. Hydroponics accounts for nearly 60% of current installations. The UAE, despite being a small country, led the regional market with a 31.5% share in 2024. Saudi Arabia holds 23%. Together, they are driving an agricultural revolution in a region most people would consider the last place on earth to grow food. But it would be dishonest not to address the real limitations of vertical farming, and they are significant. The energy cost is the central challenge. LED lighting and climate control systems consume 60 to 70% of facility operating expenditure, according to market research published in 2026. In a region where electricity is cheap due to oil and gas subsidies, this is manageable. In the rest of the world, it makes vertical farming economically challenging for most crops. Vertical farms currently excel at leafy greens, herbs and microgreens, crops with short growth cycles and high turnover. Staple crops, wheat, rice, corn, potatoes, remain far beyond the reach of economically viable vertical production. The yield ceiling for photosynthetic efficiency means vertical farms cannot match field-scale economics for commodity crops. If the Gulf states are going to achieve genuine food independence, vertical farming addresses part of the problem. The calorie problem, the basic grains that feed populations, remains largely unsolved. Despite those limitations, what is being built in the desert represents something more significant than a regional agricultural solution. It is a proof of concept for farming in environments that conventional agriculture cannot reach. As climate change pushes temperatures upward globally, as aquifer depletion shrinks available irrigation water, and as arable land becomes scarcer, the engineering being tested in Dubai and Riyadh becomes a template for anywhere on Earth that faces similar constraints. The technology developed to grow strawberries in a Riyadh tower at 50 degrees Celsius does not only solve Saudi Arabia's problem, it potentially solves the problem of any city, anywhere, that can no longer rely on the land around it. The countries that built their wealth on oil spent the 20th century fueling the world. The vertical farms going up in their megacities suggest they are thinking seriously about what they fuel the 21st century with. Welcome to ExpertiseDive. Drop your thoughts below, and if you want us to cover the global water crisis that makes this even more urgent, let us know.